Hi, first grade friends. We're going to talk today just a little bit about fractions. And we've talked about them a little bit this year for different things, but you'll learn a lot more about them in second grade. But if you remember at Christmas time when we did some little trees with Skittles, and you had to tell me how many Skittles out of your bag were red or purple or green out of 10. So, and we put them on with little with icing on our tree, and then you got to eat them when you were done. That was those were fractions. So we've done a few things with them this year, but we'll do a couple of things in Seesaw this week just to have a good review for get you ready for next year. So when we talk about fractions, we're talking about looking at a whole thing and taking a part of that. So like, for example, like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, if you were going to give some of that to your friend and you wanted to show that as a fraction, you would make the sandwich into 2 equal parts, and then you could give one to your friend. So in order to have a fraction, you have to have equal parts. So that is the first step in fractions. You have to have equal parts. So when we look at our circle, square, triangle, rhombus, and rectangle up here, this first one is divided equally. So I could have a fraction with this shape. Here I have divided right here, and you can see that this part is a lot smaller than this part. So that is not equal. So we cannot have a fraction with that part. The triangle looks like it might be even, but if you look, there's a lot, there are different portions on each side. Okay, so that one is not divided equally. My rhombus is divided, and you can see it's got the same on both sides. So that one will have, we'll be able to have a fraction. And then the rectangle is divided into 3 equal pieces. Okay, so that one will have a fraction as well. The second part for fractions, what you're going to do is look at what part of that are you talking about out of the whole. Okay, when we talk about fractions, we have 2 numbers, and they have a little line in the middle of them. The top number is called the numerator. That's the part that we're going to shade in, the part that we would give to our friend. Okay, would be that one piece. The bottom number is called the denominator, and that's how many equal parts we have all together out of the whole. So here in our circle, if I shade in 1 part out of 2, because I have 2 equal parts, I will say that my fraction here is 1 out of 2, or you may know that as 1/2. Okay, so I have shaded 1 piece out of 2. So the one right here is shaded out of 2. Okay. On this one here, if you notice, it's asking me to shade in 2 pieces. That's the top number. So I'm going to shade in the whole thing there because I have 2 equal pieces. That's the bottom number. Now this one is 2/2, but as you get a little older, you'll know that as a whole, or that would be actually as a whole, 1 whole. Okay. The third one on my rectangles, it wants me to shade in 2 out of 3. Okay, so I'm going to shade in 2 equal pieces out of the 3 equal pieces. So I will say my number here, this fraction is 2/3. So 2/3 of the rectangle is shaded. Okay, if I was going to look at the part that was not shaded, that would be 1 part out of my 1, 2, 3. So the part that's not shaded, I would say, is 1/3 of my rectangle. Okay. So this just gives you a good introduction for fractions. You're going to do 2 things on Seesaw this week. One of them will be first telling me, is it equal or is it not equal? Okay, you have to establish that first before you can even have a fraction. The next part, you will be coloring in 1 part out of the whole, or 2 parts or 3 parts. So if you look at that top number is what you will be shading in. Okay, so I hope this helps, and have a great week.